For almost 200 years, the galaxy spoke of humans only in whispers. Young cadets in alien academies were told strange stories before sleep. Old commanders warned their crews in quiet voices. Traders in deep space bars swore they had seen broken ships with an ancient blue symbol on the hull, the symbol of Earth. But no one had seen a real human fleet for generations. Some believed humans had destroyed themselves in war. Some believed they had left the galaxy forever. Others said they never existed at all, and that the Terrans were only a myth created to scare enemies. The Krag Dominion did not believe in myths. The Krag were strong, proud, and cruel. Their empire stretched across dozens of systems. Their warships were fast and brutal. Their soldiers feared nothing. Especially not old legends. When the Krag attacked Xylar Prime, no one came to help. Xylar Prime was a small border colony. It had weak defenses and little value. The Krag wanted its resources. They arrived with fire and metal, their ships darkening the sky. Cities burned. Defense fleets were crushed in minutes. The galaxy watched in silence. No major alliance wanted to risk war with the Krag. Xylar Prime would fall, just like many worlds before it. During the invasion, a young Krag officer laughed as he looked at an old transmission tower in the colony's capital. The tower was ancient. Rusted. Forgotten. On its side was a faded symbol. A blue circle. A white star. And one word written in an old language. Earth. The officer mocked it. "Call your ghosts," he said. "Let your legend save you." The tower had not worked in over a century. Or at least, that is what everyone believed. That night, something changed. Deep beneath the broken city, power flowed through old cables. Dust shook from metal walls. Hidden systems activated for the first time in 180 years. A signal was sent. It was not loud. It was not powerful. But it was clear. Ancient Terran code moved through the dark between stars. One short message. Xylar Prime under attack. Civilian population in danger. Then the tower went silent again. Days passed. The Krag tightened their control. Resistance fighters were hunted. Survivors hid in ruins. The Krag High Command declared the system secured. Then, at the edge of Krag space, a long-range scout ship detected something strange. A warp disturbance. At first, the Krag sensors thought it was a star shift. Then another reading appeared. And another. Within minutes, the readings multiplied. Not one ship. Not 10. Hundreds. No, thousands. All emerging from deep space. All carrying an old identification code. Terran. The Krag admiral aboard the border fortress stared at the data in silence. His claws tightened on the command rail. "This is impossible," one officer whispered. "Humans are gone." The admiral did not answer. On the main screen, space twisted. A massive ship exited warp. It was larger than any Krag battleship. Its hull was black, smooth, and without decoration. No glowing lights. No visible weapons. Only one symbol burned in cold blue across its surface. Earth. Behind it, more ships appeared. Endless lines of dark steel filled the stars. The galaxy's monitoring stations began to panic. Signals spread fast. Every major power turned their eyes toward Krag territory. The legends were not dead. They had been waiting. The Terran flagship moved forward slowly, calmly, as if it feared nothing. A transmission was sent to every Krag channel. The message was simple. "We received your signal." On Xylar Prime, hidden survivors looked up as strange shadows crossed the burning sky. Krag soldiers paused in confusion. Their scanners screamed warnings they could not understand. Above the planet, the first Terran warship took position. More ships formed behind it, blocking out the stars. The myth of Earth was no longer a story told in whispers. It had arrived. And this time, it was real. The arrival of the Terran fleet did not begin with noise. It began with silence. Crag ships above Xylar Prime stopped firing. Their commanders stared at tactical screens that no longer made sense. The Terran vessels did not move like normal fleets. They did not rush. They did not form messy battle lines. They simply appeared, and took control of space. The Crag Supreme Admiral ordered immediate attack. All ships, fire. Hundreds of plasma cannons lit up the darkness. Missiles streaked across orbit like angry comets. The sky above Xylar Prime turned bright red. Every shot hit the lead Terran ship. The explosions were massive. Fire covered the human vessel from bow to stern. Crag officers cheered. When the smoke cleared, the Terran ship was still there. Not damaged. Not burning. Not even shaken. A quiet shock moved across every crag bridge. The Terran fleet finally responded. Small lights began to glow along the sides of the human ships. Smooth panels opened. Long, silent structures extended from their hulls. Energy gathered. But there was no chaos in their movement. No anger. No shouting across channels. They were calm. A second message was sent. You are attacking a protected civilian world. Stand down. The Crag Admiral growled in fury. No one threatened the Dominion. No one gave them orders. He commanded full assault. This time, the Crag deployed their dreadnoughts. Massive warships with enough power to break planets. They charged forward, their weapons overheating from continuous fire. One Crag dreadnought reached close range and fired its main cannon. A beam of pure energy struck the Terran flagship directly. For a moment, space itself seemed to tear apart. Then the beam faded. The Terran ship remained. Not even a mark. The human fleet moved. But they did not rush. They did not scream battle cries. They did not fill space with endless explosions. One Terran cruiser shifted slightly and locked onto the closest Crag dreadnought. A single pulse of white light flashed. The Crag dreadnought vanished. No explosion. No debris. Just gone. Every Crag channel filled with panic. Another Terran ship fired. Another Crag vessel disappeared. It was not a battle. It was a lesson. The Terran fleet advanced slowly, pushing the Crag forces away from Xylar Prime without harming the planet. Human ships positioned themselves like a shield between the colony and the attackers. They were not trying to destroy everything. They were protecting something. The Crag High Council, far from the battlefield, demanded answers. How many ships do they have? One council member asked. The censor officer gave a shaking reply. Long-range scans show Terran warp signatures across multiple sectors. They are not only here. Reports began flooding in from other Crag-controlled systems. Human fleets had appeared near mining colonies. Near prison worlds. Near occupied territories. Everywhere the Crag had attacked weak civilizations. Terran ships were now present. It had been planned. The humans had known. Back above Xylar Prime, the Crag Admiral realized the terrible truth. The Terrans were not angry. They were organized. Precise. Prepared. The Terran flagship finally moved closer to the Crag command ship. Its dark hull blocked out the stars. A direct transmission opened, this time visual. On the Crag screen appeared a human. Calm eyes. Gray uniform. No fear. We warned the galaxy long ago, the human commander said. We do not interfere without reason. You were given your chance. The Crag Admiral snarled. You hide for centuries and call yourself strong. The human did not react. We were not hiding. We were watching. Behind the Terran flagship, more ships exited warp. Larger than the first wave. Heavier. Stronger. The human commander gave one final sentence. Withdraw from all occupied systems. Or we continue. The Crag Admiral refused. He ordered retreat toward their core worlds, planning to regroup and bring their ultimate weapon into the fight. But deep inside, he understood something terrifying. The legends were wrong. Humans were not ghosts from the past. They were guardians who had chosen the exact moment to return. And this was only the beginning. The Crag Dominion had never known fear like this. Their fleets were strong. Their armies were feared across dozens of systems. For generations, they believed power was simple, whoever had the biggest weapons ruled. Now, that belief was breaking. As Crag forces retreated from Xylar Prime, they expected the Terrans to chase them in anger. But the human fleet did not rush forward. Instead, the Terran ships split into precise formations. Half of them remained above Xylar Prime. The other half disappeared into warp. Within hours, reports came from across Crag space. Slave camps were being liberated. Prison transports were stopped and boarded. Mining worlds under heavy Crag control suddenly saw Terran ships appear in orbit, demanding surrender. The humans were not attacking random targets. They were targeting injustice. The galaxy began to understand something important. This was not revenge. It was correction. On Xylar Prime, human dropships descended carefully into the broken cities. They did not come with heavy guns firing. They came with medical teams, engineers, and supplies. Survivors watched in disbelief as armored Terran soldiers carried injured children to safety. Human doctors treated alien civilians without hesitation. A small alien girl, hiding beneath fallen metal, looked up at a Terran soldier. "Are you real?" she asked. The soldier removed his helmet. His voice was calm. "Yes," he said. "We heard you." The story spread fast. Humans were not destroying worlds. They were protecting them. But the Crag Supreme Warlord was not finished. From the Crag core system, he activated a secret project long kept hidden. A weapon built for total domination. A planet breaker. It was not just a large cannon. It was a mobile station the size of a small moon. Its surface covered in weapons. Its center powered by unstable starcore energy. It could erase an entire world in one shot. The warlord gave his order. Target Xylar Prime. If the humans wanted to protect that colony, then they would watch it burn. The massive weapon moved into position at the edge of the system. Terran sensors detected it immediately. The human fleet reacted without panic. Ships repositioned quickly. Carriers moved civilians deeper underground. Defense platforms activated around the planet. The Terran flagship transmitted one final warning to the Crag command. "If you fire that weapon, there will be no second warning." The Crag warlord laughed. He believed humans had limits. He believed they were too controlled to unleash true destruction. The planet breaker began charging. Energy gathered at its core. Even distant stars seemed to dim as power was pulled inward. On Xylar Prime, civilians looked up at the sky in fear. Terran ships moved closer together. Closer. Closer. Until they formed a massive wall of steel and light in orbit around the planet. Thousands of ships locking shields. Linking power. Creating a single united barrier. The planet breaker fired. A beam of blinding white energy tore across space. It struck the Terran wall. For a moment, the galaxy thought the humans would finally fall. The beam pushed against the shield. Terran ships shook violently. Energy readings spiked beyond safe limits. Some ships began to melt. But they did not move. They did not break formation. The human fleet endured the full force of the weapon. Then, slowly, the beam faded. Xylar Prime still existed. The shield held. Several Terran ships were damaged, but none retreated. The Crag warlord stared at his screen in disbelief. No empire had ever survived the planet breaker. But the humans had not used it for themselves. They had used their strength to protect others. The Terran flagship sent a final message across all galactic channels. A clear broadcast, heard in every major system. "We did not return for war," the human commander said. "We returned because some of you forgot what power is for." Behind him, the Terran fleet prepared for its next move. The Crag had crossed the line. And now, the galaxy was watching what humans would do next. After the failed planet breaker attack, silence spread across the galaxy. Not fear. Not chaos. Silence. Every major power was watching. For the first time in centuries, the Crag Dominion was not advancing. Their fleets were pulling back toward their core systems. Defensive lines were forming. Emergency signals filled their space. But the Terrans did not rush to destroy them. Instead, the human commander requested a full galactic broadcast. Every council, every empire, every hidden station received the same signal. The image of the Terran Supreme Commander appeared once again. His face was calm. His uniform was simple. Behind him stood a window showing rows of Terran warships floating in perfect formation. "We know what you have heard about us," he began. "Legends. Monsters. Ghosts of war." He paused. "Most of it is wrong." Across the galaxy, leaders leaned closer to their screens. 2 centuries ago, he continued, humanity saw the direction this galaxy was moving. Endless war. Empires rising and falling. Worlds destroyed for pride. So we chose to step back. Some alien officials were confused. Others were angry. "You left," one ambassador whispered. "You abandoned the galaxy." The commander answered the unspoken question. "We did not abandon it. We removed ourselves from it. We stopped competing. We stopped expanding. We turned inward." Images flashed behind him, shipyards hidden in deep space, massive construction platforms, advanced cities orbiting quiet stars. "We studied. We improved. We prepared. Not to conquer. But to ensure that if the day came when someone crossed the line, we would be ready." The screen shifted to show Xylar Prime. The damaged cities. The rescued civilians. Human and alien children standing together. "We do not control the galaxy," the commander said. "But we protect the balance." In the Crag core system, the Supreme Warlord watched the broadcast with rage burning in his eyes. "Balance is weakness," he growled. He made his final decision. If he could not defeat the Terrans in open battle, he would strike at the heart. He ordered a surprise jump. The remaining Crag elite fleet, their fastest, most advanced warships, engaged emergency warp drives. Their destination, Earth. If humanity's home world could be destroyed, the Terran fleet would fall into chaos. The jump was sudden and violent. But when the Crag fleet exited warp near Earth's system, they froze. Earth was not alone. Orbiting the blue planet were thousands of defense platforms, hidden until now. Massive cannons rotated toward the incoming fleet. Shield arrays lit up the darkness like a second sun. Beyond the planet, entire Terran fleets were already waiting. The Crag had not surprised anyone. They had walked into a trap. The Terran flagship appeared directly ahead of the Crag formation. This time, the human commander did not look calm. He looked disappointed. "You were given multiple chances," he said. The Crag warlord appeared on screen, his voice filled with fury. "You hide behind words. You pretend to be protectors. But you are still warriors. Yes, the human replied. We are. Behind him, Earth turned slowly, peaceful and blue. But we fight so others don't have to. Terran ships moved into full combat position. Weapons charged. Target locks confirmed across the Crag fleet. The humans had complete advantage. They could end the Dominion in minutes. Instead, the commander spoke one final offer. Surrender your fleet. End your expansion. Withdraw from every occupied world. Face trial for your crimes. The Crag warlord refused without hesitation. He activated a self-destruct command across his own fleet. If we fall, he shouted, we take you with us. Warning alarms exploded across Terran bridges. Every Crag ship began overloading its core at once. But the humans had already prepared for this possibility. Terran ships launched precise energy strikes, disabling engines, cutting power systems, isolating reactors. Boarding craft moved with perfect timing. Within moments, most of the Crag fleet was neutralized. Only the warlord's flagship remained unstable, its core seconds from explosion. The Terran commander gave a quiet order. Contain it. A massive Terran battleship moved forward, surrounding the Crag flagship in a powerful energy field. The explosion came. But it was contained. Earth remained untouched. The legend of humanity was no longer built on fear. It was built on control. And the final decision of the war was about to be made. The explosion faded inside the containment field like a dying star. For a few seconds, no one in the galaxy breathed. Then the light vanished. Earth remained untouched. The Crag flagship was gone, reduced to silent debris held inside the Terran energy barrier. The rest of the Crag fleet drifted powerless, engines dead, weapons offline. The Supreme Warlord was captured alive. Across hundreds of systems, Crag forces received the same message at once. Your command structure has fallen. Stand down. You will not be destroyed if you comply. It was not shouted. It was not filled with anger. It was simple. Clear. Final. One by one, Crag ships powered down. On occupied worlds, Crag commanders looked at the skies and saw Terran fleets already in orbit. Not firing. Not invading. Waiting. The war did not end in fire. It ended in silence. Within days, Terran peace ships replaced warships above liberated planets. Medical stations were deployed. Supply routes reopened. Prison gates unlocked. The galaxy watched in disbelief. This was not conquest. The Terrans did not claim territory. They did not raise their flag over Crag systems. Instead, they created something new. A galactic assembly was formed, not ruled by humans, but protected by them. Each world, large or small, had a voice. Trade agreements were rewritten. Military expansions were limited. The Terrans made only one demand. No empire will rise through cruelty again. The captured Crag warlord was brought before a united council. For the first time, the Crag leader stood without power. He expected execution. Instead, the Terran commander spoke calmly. You will face justice, not revenge. The trial was public. Evidence of destroyed worlds, enslaved species, shattered civilizations filled the screens. The galaxy did not cheer. It listened. When the final judgment came, the warlord was sentenced to life imprisonment on a secure world, stripped of command, forced to witness the rebuilding of what he tried to destroy. Many expected humans to wipe out the Crag entirely. They did not. Instead, the Terrans helped rebuild Crag society under new leadership. Young Crag were taught history without lies. They learned what had happened, and why. Years passed. Trade returned to former war zones. Xylar Prime became a symbol of unity. Its rebuilt capital held a monument, not to humans alone, but to every species that stood together during the crisis. At the center of the monument was a simple symbol. Earth. But now it meant something different. It did not mean fear. It meant warning. It meant protection. Human fleets slowly pulled back from visible space once again. Defense networks remained hidden but active. Monitoring stations watched quietly from deep space. The Terrans did not take control of the galaxy. They set its boundaries. A new law spread through every academy and military command. If you seek power, remember who defines its limits. Children across many worlds grew up hearing a different version of the old stories. Not about monsters who return from darkness, but about guardians who arrive when hope is almost gone. On Earth, life returned to normal. Cities thrived. Ships continued to be built, but not for war alone, for exploration, science, and distant missions beyond known space. The Terran Supreme Commander stood one evening overlooking Earth from orbit. A young officer joined him. "Do you think they will remember?" the officer asked. The commander looked at the blue planet below. "They don't need to remember us," he said. "They need to remember the line." Far beyond the outer rim, unknown signals flickered in deep space. New civilizations were rising. New dangers were forming. Human sensors detected them. The fleet adjusted quietly. Because the legend of Earth was no longer a myth. It was law. And as long as the Terran fleet existed, the galaxy would never again mistake kindness for weakness.